Hello, this is Jessica Weifel. In this video, I will be showing you how to make the Attitude Snowflake. You can find the written pattern for free on my blog or as part of the Snowfall 2025 Contemplations ebook that is available in my Ravelry and Etsy shops. I recommend having the pattern open alongside this video so that you can refer to both at the same time. I will be using US crochet terms in this video. For this pattern, I recommend using a 1.5mm crochet hook. I'm using my great-grandmother's hook here. And Siepia's Maxi Sweet Treats or Maxi Sugar Rush, which is a size 10 cotton thread. However, so that you can see what I'm doing better, I will be using Siepia's Cotton 8 in this video. Please excuse my lumpy ball of yarn here. Cotton 8 is usually much smoother, but I must have frogged this yarn at some point in the past. Round 1. So to begin round 1, we're going to make a magic ring. And I'd like to make a double magic ring, which is the same as a regular magic ring, but instead of wrapping the yarn around our finger once, we're going to do it twice. This just adds a little bit more stability. Now insert your hook into the ring, yarn over hook, and pull up a loop. Now we're going to chain 1, and that just kind of locks this magic ring into place. Now into the magic ring, we're going to make a single crochet and then 2 chain, and we will do that 6 times in total. That's twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and 6 times. Then before we join up, we're going to tighten up our magic ring. So for a double magic ring, you're going to pull just a little bit on the end first until you can see which loop that is pulling out. Once you found that loop, pull on the loop that was being pulled until the other loop closes up all the way. Then we can pull on our tail again, or that loose end, until it closes up the rest of the way. And to finish off this round, we're just going to make a slip stitch into our first single crochet. Now, sometimes this can be a little bit tight, especially right after tightening the magic ring. But, work your way in there, make a slip stitch, and that is the end of round 1. So at the end of this round, you should have 6 single crochets and 6 2-chain spaces. Round 2. So for round 2, it's pretty long, so bear with me. We're going to start by chaining 1 and making a single crochet into the next 2-chain space. And then we will chain 1, and this counts as the first double crochet. Now we're going to begin the repeat and start making a very long wiggle branch, I've called it. So we're going to start by chaining 21. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. So now we have a 21 chain, and we're going to work back down the chain, and we're going to work into the back bump of the chain for symmetry at the end. So we'll start by skipping these first 2 chains from the hook, and then we're going to make 2 double crochets. So this first one is going to go into the 3rd chain from the hook, and the second one in the fourth, and so on. And that's how you work back down the chain when we're working back in the chain. Then we're going to make 1 half double crochet, again working back down that chain for this whole next part. And then we're going to make 6 slip stitches. And for this part, we're going to switch from working in the back bump to working in this front loop, or the closest loop, which I believe is actually the front loop. It's a little hard to tell. It's just the one closest to you. The reason I switched here is that this actually makes the branch just a little more narrow. Whereas if you work in the back bump, which you can do, that's perfectly fine, that tends to make a slightly wider chain, or slightly wider branch, and I wanted this one to be fairly slim. But it is your choice. You can work in whichever loop is more comfortable. I also find working in this front loop to be a lot easier. I do instruct people to work in the back loop a lot when it matters for symmetry, because I think it looks really nice. But where you work your chain or your slip stitch really can be a personal preference. And honestly, in thread, it's not as noticeable. I'm going to double count that because I've been talking and lost count, but that should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So that's perfect. That leaves us with the single crochet and 1 chain that make up that first double crochet. So basically we were just left with a double crochet at the end of that chain. So for this next part, we're going to start making what I've called the stacked circles. So we're going to make a chain 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then in the 4th chain from the hook, we're going to make a 2 treble crochet cluster. So we're going to wrap the yarn around our hook twice, count back from our hook 1, 2, 3, 4. And I am going to make this in the back bump of the chain, your choice where you want to make it. And we'll make the first part of our treble cluster, our 2 treble cluster, and then wrap the yarn around the hook twice and make the second part of our 2 treble cluster. So that is our 2 treble cluster made in the 4th chain from the hook. And this makes our first 2 treble picot. So now we're going to chain 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we're going to make a double treble in the 7th chain from the hook. So for a double treble, we're going to wrap the yarn around the hook 3 times. And the 7th chain from the hook, we made 8, so it's the 1, skip 1, it's right here. Or you can count back. And we go 1, 2, the 3rd loop, and all the way through. And that makes our first double treble picot. Now we're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And once again, we're going to make a 2 treble cluster in the 4th chain from the hook. So wrap the yarn around twice. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll make the first part of our cluster. Part 1, wrap around twice, and make the second part. And pull it all the way through. And there is our second 2 treble picot made. Now we're going to make a chain 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Chain 9. Now we're going to slip stitch in the 9th chain from the hook. Now often here I'll tell you to go into the back bump to make it nice and symmetrical, but for this particular snowflake I'm going to go into the catch both the back bump of the chain and this closest loop or the front loop. The reason for that is that I want to make these circles nice and tight with little tiny pieces in between, and this will allow me to make them really small gaps in between. So next we're going to chain 4, 3, 4, and we're going to make another treble cluster or 2 treble cluster in the 4th chain from the hook. So you yarn over twice. In that 4th chain from the hook, we're going to make the first part of the 2 treble cluster and then the second part. And finish it off. So there's our second or third, check my notes, that's the third 2 treble picot made. And now we're going to make a slip stitch in between our second 2 treble cluster and our first double treble cluster. So that's this chain right here. And again, often I would tell you to go in the back bump, but for this snowflake I'm going to have you go, or I'm going to recommend going in the back and front loop for that slip stitch. So what I do find is going in that slip stitch does tend to want to make the snowflake kind of taco up like that, but when you stiffen it you can straighten that out, and it just keeps the little joins in between all of the stacked circles nice and tight and tiny. Continuing on, we're going to chain 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we'll make a double treble crochet in the 7th chain from the hook. So wrap that yarn around 3 times, and working in the 7th chain from the hook, which is the first one that we made, and I'm struggling a little bit to get in the back bump here. You can actually make that in whichever loop you find easiest. Just to be consistent, I'm going to work in the back bump whenever I'm making these, and in both when I'm making the others. And then close it up. That is our second double treble picot made. Then again, we're going to slip stitch in the chain space between the first double treble picot and the first 2 treble picot. I'm struggling to say all those words. And again, I'm going to go into both the front loop and the back bump for this slip stitch. And now we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And make another 2 treble cluster in the back bump of the 4th chain from the hook. 1, and the second part, and close that up. Now we're going to slip stitch into the chain that is just before the first 2 treble picot. So that's this one right here. And again, I'm going to work into the back bump and the front loop. Keep it consistent. And then we will chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And this is the stack of circles complete. So you can see you have the big open middle circle, the 2 closed circles, and the little loop on the top. So that is the stack of circles completed. So now we're going to make the second long wiggle branch. So just like the first, we're going to chain 21. And that is on top of these 3 chain that are already there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So there is our chain 21 plus the 3 chain that we have at the beginning. There should be 24 chains in total. Just 21 of them are part of the long wiggle branch. So now we're going to again work back down the chain into the back bump to begin with. We're going to skip the first 2 chains and make 2 double crochets. So this will go, first double crochet will go in the 3rd chain from the hook. So that's 1 double crochet, and then a second one, 2 double crochet, and then a half double crochet. Now continuing down the chain, we're going to work now into the near loop. That's the one that is closest up here. And we're going to slip stitch 16 times. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So once you've done 16 chains, there should be 3 chains remaining here that will finish off the symmetry so that we have 3 chains on both sides. And we will continue by making 1 double crochet into the same 2 chain space below. And then we'll make a second double crochet into the next 2 chain space. So you have 1 in the current chain space and 1 in the next. And that completes the repeat. So the repeat goes from right after this double crochet, making both, or making the very long wiggle loop, make these stacked circles, the second long wiggle loop, and then the 2 double crochets, 1 in the same and 1 in the next chain space. So I'm going to go ahead and finish off this repeat 5 more times and join you at the end of the 5th repeat to show you how to finish it off. So here I've finished up the end of round 3, and for the very end of round 3 we just skip that last double crochet because we already made it, and we can join with a slip stitch into the first chain of that double crochet, since it's actually a single crochet and a chain space. You can also join with a needle join if you prefer, but that is the end of the snowflake. We'll just fasten off and stiffen it. So this snowflake in particular, I mean all my snowflakes are designed to be stiffened. There will be a link to the video that gives you stiffening instructions in the top corner of the screen and in the description. But this snowflake in particular, you can see how much it needs to be stiffened. It's just a big floppy mess without it. This one also has several options for how you can stiffen it. So I did design these to be, stiffened in the little circle shapes, but you don't have to. You can make them long and skinny like that. And these little wiggly ones, I'd encourage you to get nice and creative. I think one of my favorite ways to arrange these that I tried was kind of a little squiggle. You can do a little squiggle on each side. But you could do all sorts of things. You could try curling them. You can just leave them nice and straight. You could, curve them gently. You could do all sorts of things. You could bend them. Let's see, can you just twist them up? There might not be a lot of room, but you could try twisting them up. Either way, get creative. After this, I will show some pictures of at least one, if I have time, 2 or more ways that I have stiffened this snowflake myself, depending on how much time I have to make extras. So enjoy those right now. Thank you for crocheting along with me. If you found this video helpful, please leave a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also comment below which of my other free snowflake patterns you would like a video tutorial for. Liking, commenting, and subscribing all help other people find this video and let me know that it's worth my time to make them.